Without any doubt, internet entertainment has become a religion with millions of worshippers, even atheists. Christianity and Islam and Judaism have become background religions. We need to revive the gods of these religions in order to give them new life. The main problem is Jesus. Jesus is taking too long to come again, and this is definitely bad judgment on his part, because he is losing his grip on mankind. We need to bring back the real Jesus to make real sense of religion. We need to balance between the Muslim Jesus, the Christian Jesus, and Jesus the Jew. Monty Python's Life of Brian is entertainment. Mel Gibson's Passion of Christ is a serious view of the same topic. We need to balance between Brian and Jesus. Harry Houdini was a great escape artist and illusionist with his marvelous acts. Chris Angels is another great artist and illusionist. The Life of Brian and Passion of Christ do provide a balance with Christianity, Islam, and Judaism, and on religion, since they both use the Bible for entertainment, for violence, and torture. The Bible must be human and humorous simultaneously, and this is worth a try for balancing or for mediation. The Bible and the Quran balance between Jesus and Christ, with the Bible saying Jesus was crucified, and the Quran denying that Jesus was crucified, and that is a perfect balance. The Bible is so clever, it tells us that Jesus was crucified. You don't have to believe me. Check the Bible. The Bible is telling us that Pontius Pilate, Herod, and Christ were a team of expert illusionists and escape artists. The Bible gives us that assurance, and you can check it out with the Bible. Herod was governor of Galilee, and he was in Jerusalem with his band of soldiers, 100 of them, which added to Pilate's band of another 100 soldiers, each with its own commanding officer. Herod and Pilate had anticipated confrontation with the chief rabbi and his followers on the holy day of the Passover. Herod and Pilate admired and loved Jesus. Pilate's wife loved Jesus. It's in the Bible. Jesus exposed the chief rabbi and his priests as frauds with his miraculous healing, his raising of the dead, and his feeding of 5,000 of his followers with 5 loaves and 2 fish, with 12 baskets of leftover fish and bread. 5,000 is a huge crowd of followers to command and control. Such was the popularity of Jesus at that time. He was also able to escape the crowd at any time, as if he was invisible. Jesus knew that the chief rabbi and his priests had planned to use him as their scapegoat in their uprising against their Roman rulers for the Passover. And Jesus forced them to make an early move against him, a preemptive move, with his regal entry into Jerusalem on a donkey, and his removal of the moneylenders and their tables from the temple that same day. The Jews played directly into his hands, and from there into the hands of Pilate and Herod. Pontius Pilate performed the greatest hoax in the history of planet Earth when he made Jesus disappear for 3 days and 3 nights, from which came the name Jesus, and from which began the unrest that has made the Middle East and Jerusalem the birthplace of all wars that plague planet Earth today. The Jews' kangaroo court failed to arrive at a verdict against Jesus, but they delivered their victim to Pilate regardless. Pilate then controlled all proceedings and all trials and all verdicts, kangaroo style, in Jesus' favor. Pilate and Herod and Christ then went into illusion control with 202 soldiers and with 2 convicted and condemned thieves who were selected for their roles as Jesus, King of the Jews, in a military procession to Golgotha. After the beating and the scourging and the crowning with thorns inside of the judgment hall, away from the view of the Jews, unknown to the Jews who were made to believe that the victim they delivered to Pilate was the one Pilate brought out to them as their king, the next stage of the illusion began with inscribed crosses. The Bible does more than just balance. The Bible agrees with the Quran that Christ was not crucified. The chief rabbi and his priests could not tell the difference anyway. They needed to have Jesus identified by one of his very close companions. Harry Houdini and Chris Angels would have volunteered for the roles of Jesus, King of the Jews, had they been given the assurance by Pilate that the show would have been directed by Mel Gibson. But there was no such luck for the 2 thieves, and the extra cross had its bearer selected from that portion of the surging crowd directly outside of the judgment hall, and 5,000 followers would not have missed this miracle, even if it was only an illusion. Pontius Pilate, magician, illusionist, escape artist, and exposer of frauds, had the Jews accept the blood of 2 thieves as their king, and he arranged the procession to Golgotha in stages that produced the illusion of 1 cross and 1 victim, until all 3 crosses were lifted and set in place at Golgotha, with the 2 thieves appearing above the crowds, to the shock and surprise and the horror of the Jews. Mission accomplished at Golgotha, and the rest of the hoax formed the cover-up that has led us to the battle for Jerusalem today and the wars that scar the Middle East and the rest of our world. We can safely say that, according to the scriptures, without Pontius Pilate, there would never have been a Bible, nor a Jesus, nor Christianity, and the Middle East would have been the most peaceful region on planet Earth today. The Age of Reason by M.A. Rahim and Mervyn C. Charles opens up the Bible and brings the 4 Gospels together to show the reality of the hoax of the passion of Jesus. Amen and Alleluia. Take it out.